Brothers is always looking to bring you the best kit they can. So recently they've put together a nice 51 to 55 first series Chevy and GMC truck one-piece window conversion. It's a nice simple kit, doesn't need relays, hooks up nice and easy with very few tools. So I'll go ahead and show you what it comes with, and then we'll get started on the installation. Alright. So in this box right here, we'll get our window regulators and some of our window channels and nuts and bolts and such. We'll also get our instructions and our window felt. Here are the whiskers that go on the inside of the door channel. These are our window channel tracks and our window brace. This is our inside door channels. This is glass setting tape. Your glass, of course. You get brand new switches in the electrical. We've got our channels that the weather stripping will fit into. We've got our bracket for that. Rubber stops that go at the bottom of the door when we're done. Miscellaneous clips. We have a metal plate instead of a paper template. Miscellaneous nuts and bolts. Our weather channel. Here are the tools that you'll need. Not too much, just a drill, 7/16, 3/8, Phillips head, 5/16, a couple of drill bits, flashlight, tape measure, a little bit of tape, and that's it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is disassemble the door. You don't necessarily have to have it off. I just got a new door because it was easier. But you'll need to take your inside trim piece off first. Right down here at the bottom is where the felt strip, the whiskers that came in our kit will go. I'll show you how to put that on a little bit later. Now, I already have my vent window out, but if yours is still in, it's not too tough. There's just a couple of bolts, screws right here, a couple of screws in here, and then there's a bolt that's down at the bottom. Now, this bolt at the bottom, it very typically rusts pretty bad, and you're going to want to get a lot of WD-40 on that a couple of days before you start on this. If it's just too rusted, I've had to climb in there with a Dremel tool and just keep cutting until I can get that thing off of there. But once you get your vent window out, then what we're going to do is we're going to cut this section right here where the vent window braced on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out this brace right here where the vent window used to attach. And I'll cut this piece here, and I want to get as close to this as possible, but I want to make sure that I don't go over and cut through. And then right here, I just want to try to take this line that's going right here and just keep it coming right on across right to here. And here you can see the piece cut out. And grind down the edges, make sure you don't have anything sharp on there. Once that piece is cut out, we're going to take this piece of rubber right here that kind of looks like a T. And we're going to take this and we're going to cut it down a little bit. The channel that this fits into only goes from about right here to right here. And if you leave all this on, then it'll just fall off later. So we get this on right into this section here. You'll want to take your old one out. You put a little WD-40 on this and you slide it into the groove. Then on the rest of the metal that's left over here, what I like to do is just get some of this typical weather padding that you get for your doors or windows at home, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on those and a little bit of glue on here, and I'm just going to put a small strip on there, and that'll just help us to keep the window stable at this end. And this right here, this is the channel that the rubber sits in. So when it gets to right here, then it runs into this brace right here. So the nice thing about this kit also is that here is our instructions on our plate. Now a lot of times when you get instructions, they're paper, and so everything gets flopping around and such. But in order to get the most accurate drilled holes we can, Brothers went with metal. This is going to bolt right up to the original holes where your handle goes. So this template is both your sides. This is your right side, and that is simply your left side when you turn it around. I generally like to do the right side of anything first. Reason being is that if I mess it up, I don't have to be aggravated with it every time I try to roll up the driver's door, because you're going to be on the driver's side most of the time and it'll get most use. So practice on the right side, and then you finish on the left. So we're going to take our metal plate and we are just going to get it on the right side for our right door. With our plate up here, now we can see exactly where we need to drill all these spots. So I'll take a 5/16 drill bit and I'll drill those out. These two here, these are oblong so that we can adjust our window regulator. Here you just drill a hole at the top and a hole at the bottom, and then we'll cut out the metal that's in between. So you can see here we've got our holes drilled here, and then you can see how we drill at the top and the bottom, and now we'll just take that excess metal out after we take our plate back off. And we'll put this away so we can use it on the left side. So I'll get a little bit of tape. I've made sure that I ground down any sharp edges on this, but I'll get some tape and put it up here anyway, just so I don't have to worry less about scratching my glass. And you can do it on the inside edge too, but it's typically not needed once you put in the rubber there and a little bit of weather stripping down in here. Okay, so right here, I'll just get a Dremel tool and I will cut away the metal that's in between the two holes. And then I'll use a little tool like this, if necessary, just to clean up the burrs. So here is our electric window regulator. It's going to fit up in here a bit like this. There's a brace right in here, and when you try to put this in, you'll hit the brace, and you kind of want to know exactly where this is going so that it's a little easier to do once you get it into the door. If the window regulator is all the way up or all the way down, you want to have it somewhere in the middle like this. It's a little bit easier to install. So just going to come and get those in snug, and I want to test and make sure that I can go up and down within my slots here. These slots make it so that the rollers that are on either end are nice and straight, and you can have the window go up and down nice and straight, not cockeyed to one side or the other. Okay, now this is the bottom track that's going to go onto the window. We're going to take this apart. Pop out. Now this right here, so that it will slide up and down nice and easy once it's installed, I want to cut off about 1/4 of an inch on both sides. and then we'll go ahead and install this on the glass. Now, installing it on the glass, this here has already been cut down, and what you simply do is get a little bit of weather stripping glue and put just some on the glass, put some on both sides of the setting tape. The setting tape actually isn't sticky, that's why you need the glue. And then you'll simply put it over the glass like this. You put your track on, and then go ahead and tap it down like that. And you want to let that sit overnight so it's nice and firm, and when you're putting the glass in, this doesn't slip off and cause you any troubles in your installation. So obviously this is already done and ready. We've taken our 1/4 of an inch off of both sides, and it's all nice and dry and ready to install. So now this right here is called setting tape, even though it really isn't sticky. So generally what I'll do is put a little bit of weather stripping glue on in the channel, and then a little bit on the glass. Not too much. Plastic hammer.
Oh, never mind, we're not good enough.
Alright, so that's what it's going to look like when you're done. Now I'm just going to let this dry overnight, and so it's really in there firm. I don't want to be sliding this up and down and this popping off the track. So we'll get back to work on this tomorrow. Okay, this is the channel that rides in the back right here. So make sure you have this, it's not rusted out or what have you, and make sure that it's installed in the right place. A lot of times the hole at the top, when it was drilled, maybe it'll be a little bit too far this way or a little too far that way. You really want it up against this edge right here as best you can. So make sure that this is installed. You want to put in your door latch first, and generally your door handle is best to be in first before you do all this also. So this might already be in your door, but you might need to replace it. Need to make sure that this channel is in the right place before we stick these channels in. Knowing that this is secure and in the right place, I can start on these. On these, at the very top right here, you can see this is the way it comes originally right here. It's a pretty small hole, and the bracket's a little bit big. You might need to enlarge the hole, and you might need to grind down the edge of this little bracket right here. And the reason is that we want 28 5/8 distance from this track to this track. So a lot of times when I'm doing stuff like this, I'll get a piece of wood or a piece of metal that's nice and firm, and I'll cut it to the exact length I need. This doesn't come with a kit, just find something around your shop. And then I can verify that I've got the right distance at the top and all the way through my travel. So when I install this, I need just a small screw at the top, about that, so now we're talking about this guy. Now this right here is going to install and go right here. The hole has to be high enough above this where you can get your screwdriver and drill in, but you don't necessarily want to be too high. You just want to be right at a section about like this. So we get this and we just put it up here with our hand, and then we get our 28 and 5/8 bit, and we can see that this is going to clear nicely because I've already trimmed this edge down. And the reason that you need to do that is that when these were manufactured, there wasn't a high quality level of manufacturing going on, and there will be slight variances in the widths of the shapes of the doors. So we just need to compensate for that. So we have this set up. We've drilled a little hole. We put our screw on that. Okay. Now I'll take my bracket right here and I'll bolt it up. Make sure you use a nut or bolt with a flat head so it won't interfere with the tracking of the window. So I'm bolted up. I've got my bracket even there. Now I will take this and the hole that's right here, the hole that's right there, we'll set this up about like this. Now I can see where my bracket is going to meet right here, and I can mark that. Know where to drill my holes for this right here. Alright, so now we have our hole drilled here. We know where we're going to be drilling our holes here. We'll go ahead and install. I have my top secure. Double check my travel. Now I can double check on the bottom. So I've got my spacer in the bottom to check my travel, and I'm also checking to see on this front one here how far forward or how far back it's going to be going inside the door. Now it generally wants to go back as far as possible. There on this channel right here, when it goes down into the door, there is a brace inside there, and this channel will butt up right against that brace. So I'll verify that everything looks good and exactly where I want to put this. Now I'll get my drill and I'll just put a 1/8 inch drill bit on this. Take the 1/8 inch drill bit and I'll just drill a small hole in here. Then I'll take the drill bit out and I'll put it in the hole, and I've drilled through the door and the bracket. Now I'll feel up inside and make sure that I've hit the center of the bracket, and if I don't like where I drilled, I can adjust a little bit and then drill in a different spot until I have it right where I want. This way I don't have a lot of big holes everywhere. Once I know for sure that I've got the right spot, I'll go back to my 5/16 bolt or a drill. I'll drill out one hole, then I'll go ahead and I'll bolt that up, and then I'll drill the other hole. So you can see here that we have two rollers on one side. That'll be where the glass channel runs up and down. And then you just have one roller on the other side, and that's where this C channel is going to go. And you want to make sure you put it right in the middle of the roller so that it gives us longest life. I'm going to be installing this right here on the roller that's on this side. Now I'll take the electrical that comes with the kit and hook the switches up. I can put them in the plastic bag so I'll make sure they stay nice and clean while I'm working with everything. And I'll hook this up to the motor. Now I got my electrical all hooked up. I can go up and down. And I will now install the C-channel that goes on the other two rollers. What you'll have to do on this is slide it onto the front one first, because you'll be able to move it further forward, and then come back and get it onto the back one. And again, make sure that you are right in the middle of the rollers so it works properly. Might have to move it up and down in order to get this on, because going up and down will spread or track our rollers. Okay. With our C-channel track on, I'm going to lower this down. So that the screw holes are pointed out right here. Get my little screws ready. And what I'm going to be doing is installing the glass into the channels. It'll come down to the C channel, and it's going to fit right into that little latch right there. And we'll bolt them on. Now I have to bring the door up and get the other two screws tightened in this hole. So now you can see our window rolls up and down nice and easy. It's basically all in there. I'm going to take the rubber stop that goes in the bottom, and this will just keep the window from going all the way down. Alright, well I guess I should have installed that first. Originally, the truck came with clips like this. And these clips would fit right up in here, and they help hold on to our weather stripping. But I don't like them. They always fall out. They're too much of a drag to deal with. So all I do is I use weather stripping glue on these. And when you do the weather stripping glue, you want to put a little bit of glue on this and a little bit of glue on the channels. You don't want to put a ton on, because if you have to take it out, it's a real trouble getting it out of there. So just put enough on to where it'll stick. Now in this area here, you might put a little bit more, but not down into here. Now I'll take the glass and I'll come down about midway. And I'll simply slide my glass channel in. Down at the bottom of this channel, there's a little bit of a clip hanging up most of the time. Some of it will fall off, but you want to slide the channel down until it hits that clip. Install it, I'll go a little bit further down than I need. Then I'll bring it back up. When I do things like this, I like to do them before I paint them. I don't want to have this all painted and then worry about scratching up my paint or anything. So I'll mock all of this up before I paint, but I want to test it, make sure that it's working okay. So I'm not going to glue in my channel and then have to pull it out and paint. And I don't want to paint around it. So I'll just tape it up like this. Now I can test my window. Make sure things are operating properly. Okay. Now, if my glass is a little crooked, I can simply loosen these up a little, adjust it how I want, and then tighten it back up. Okay. So there you have it. Pretty nice, easy install. Now I'll take it all apart and I'll paint it, and then I'll put it back together again, and I'll show you one last time how she all goes together, and I'll give you a little bit of hint on the electrical too. Okay, when this nut is in right here, or when this bolt is in right here, you will not be able to take your channel, you will not be able to take your window regulator out. So you have to back this bolt out. You don't have to take it all the way off, just mainly, and then the roller will be able to slide out. Okay, we've got everything out. I don't necessarily need to take this channel out, or this channel out. I can leave all that in, but I don't want to leave my electric motor in. It makes the door too heavy when I'm doing body work and stuff like that. So we'll go ahead and we'll prep this up and paint it, and we'll see y'all in a little bit.
Yep.
So here is our inside window trim piece, and what we've done is we've taken the old one off. The old one was stapled on. You can see the staple holes here. I'll take the staples all the way out, and then I'll take my felt and I will glue it on with some weather stripping glue. I'll put a little bit of glue on this, a little bit of glue on this. I'll tape it on here, and I'll leave it overnight. Then what we'll do is we'll come back the next day and we'll get a little 1/16 inch drill, and we will simply drill through the whiskers and into the original staple holes. Then we'll go ahead and we'll put our staples that come in our kit right through those holes, hold it down with some pliers, bend over the edge. And this way it's glued on and stapled on, and you don't have to worry about it coming off in the future. Okay.